You talk about unifying the country. One of the ways of unifying the party would have been for you to have served in Boris Johnson's cabinet. Now, you decided not to because he offered you the job of Defence Secretary. You turned it down because you thought that, I'm putting words into your mouth here, feel free to disagree, that Penny Mordaunt shouldn't have been sacked. It was also a demotion. Wouldn't it have been... it's quite odd for a Conservative to turn down the job of Defence Secretary, isn't it?
It's a wonderful job, and I passionately think we need to spend more on defence, and who knows for the future. But during that campaign, I realised at one point that I had been in the cabinet for every hour that each of my 3 kids had been alive. And so I'd love to have stayed on as Foreign Secretary, but if Boris didn't want me to do that, I thought this is actually a moment to take a bit of time out for my family, for my constituency, but actually be a better dad. And and I've been able to walk my kids to school and things like that, which I just wasn't able to do before.
How has that changed you? Because you're right, being in government for so long, you get used to a certain routine. You get used to the fact that you're here, there and everywhere. You don't have your weekends to yourself. How has that changed you?
Truthfully, I think the big lie for politicians when they're doing big jobs in the cabinet is you persuade yourself, if you're a man, that you're being a good dad, because you read the odd story to your kids and you attend the odd school play, and you may even clear time at the weekends for them. But you are always busy and there's always something on your mind, even at that weekend time when you should be with your kids. And you don't realise it, and you persuade yourself you're doing okay and you're being a good husband. And it's not until you get off the hamster wheel that you realise what it's like actually to spend unpressured time with your family. And that has been very special for me.
You know where this is leading, don't you? I mean, if there's
I think you're going to say, does your Chinese, Japanese wife agree with you? Is she happy to have you at home?
I'm assuming that she is. No, the election result will be announced on the morning of the 13th of December. Boris Johnson will then reform his government. If he rings you up and says, look, I want you in my government now, you've had your 4 months off with your kids, I want you back, have you thought about what your response will be?
I don't rule out a return to frontline politics, but I'd like to wait a bit longer. I think this is a special moment for me to spend time with the family and with the constituency. But what I want is for Boris to be in a position to form that government. And I do think this election is going to be a lot closer than many people seem to believe reading the papers. I mean, the single thing you have to remember is that there is no party in Parliament that will form an alliance with the Conservatives if we don't get a majority.